She tried to take me no in this cat, nigga can't even see me on winds. She tried to fly, nigga in this cat. She tried to fly me no way out of here. She tried to fly, nigga.
Welcome back to my channel. As you see by the title, today I'm gonna just be doing like a form of active recall and trying to teach you guys IV fluids, cause literally I think I fully got it. So I'm gonna test that by actually explaining it to you guys. Maybe some of you guys out there is having the same trouble I had with actually understanding the IV fluids. So let's get right into it. All right, so we just have this up for a little reference, so I'm not like, okay, we know we're talking about IV fluids. Okay, so there's 3 types of IV fluids. We have, let's make this colorful. We have the hypotonic solution, and then for hypotonic, we have about 4 types of solution. We have the 0.45, which is known as, half normal saline. We have 0.22% saline, 0.33% saline, and then we have the D5W, that's the 5% of dextrose in water. And we know this one, it turns hypotonic, but when it's metabolized, but when it's in the bag, it's isotonic. Let me just make sure. You see my little makeshift area? Cause my board, I couldn't get it on the wall, so I really wanted to show you guys what I learned. So I try to make it stay. Are you gonna stay? Is it moving? Okay, it's moving. I need to find something on. Oh, yeah, it's moving. It just won't stay right. Hold on. See, I try to put my phone there to keep it. Okay, that's good for now. Okay. So we have the hypotonic, and then next we have isotonic. Let's try a different color. Isotonic. Isotonic solution. That one is the 0.9%, which is normal saline. And like I said, it's also the D5W because before it's metabolized. And then the lactated urine. Okay. Then we have the hypertonic solution. Okay, so for this one, let's just write hypertonic. Next time, I'm gonna make sure I have this on the wall. I'm gonna figure it out. So we have anything greater than 0.9 is hypertonic. Anything lower than 0.9 is hypotonic. So we have the dextrose 10% in water. We have the dextrose 5% in 0.9 normal saline. This is bad. I hope you all can see it. And then you have the same dextrose 5. I'm just gonna do that in 5, but it's in half normal saline. Okay. So Okay, so these are the three types of IV fluids. We have a hypotonic, isotonic, and hypertonic. We know that isotonic is the balance. So when you give your patient isotonic fluid, there's no shift of water inside and outside of the cell. So we also know that osmosis is water moving from the low concentration to high concentration through a permeable membrane. So that means some stuff can move through and some stuff can't. Okay, just bear with me, okay? All right, so when it comes to hypotonic solutions, let me look at my notes that I wrote down. Hold on. Hypotonic solutions are it's hypotonic, but it's high in salt, right? A high concentration of solutes. It's a higher osmolarity. I can't explain, but I'm gonna try. A higher osmolarity. So with hypotonic, the cells are going to swell because we're gonna say cells swell. Cells swell, right? So water moves into the cell. So my thing was I couldn't understand why with hypotonic you might have like a nursing consideration, I guess you would say, or a nursing implementation. Is like if you give your patient a hypotonic solution, you have to monitor them for signs of dehydration because I'm going to show you. When your patient, say your patient come in, right, and you have to give them some normal saline. Okay, so this is the extracellular fluid right here. This is the extracellular fluid. And then this is the cell. And this is the extracellular fluid. So inside the cell, we're gonna have salt, like particles, and we're gonna have water. So the particles are gonna be dots, and then the triangles are water. So triangles are water, and the particles are the dots. So I just connected my patient to a half normal saline because that's what the doctor's orders say. So when that happens now and it goes into the blood stream and also the extracellular fluid, this is a lower, I think I was saying the wrong thing before, but this is a lower concentration of salt. So this hypotonic solution has more water than salt. So let's write that down. More water, more H2O than Na. Okay. So when that hypertonic solution, right? The hypertonic solution is going into the extracellular fluid. So that water is outside. That water goes in here, and then the water loves salt. So we know that water, H2O, follows Na salt. So we put the water, mind you, we said the triangles are water, right? We put the water, the hypotonic solution here, and now it goes into the cell because the salt, these particles, it's obsessed with the salt. So now it goes into the cell and it leads, this cell is going to be filled with water. We said the triangles were water. This cell is now swollen because of all that water. has a little bit of particles, but a lot of water. Now, that extracellular fluid, it doesn't have that much water because all that water went into the cell. So your patient is now at risk for hypovolemia because all that water went into the cell, and now the swell is now it's swollen. That's why we say cells swell with hypotonic solutions, right? So now that the cell is swollen and everything, they're at risk for they're at risk for hypovolemia. And with that being said, your patient is also at risk for hypotension. So they're at risk for hypovolemia and hypotension. Because we know that hypertension is the pressure, and that the pressure of like the pressure in the vascular space. So yeah, so now isotonic is like if your patient is like have some mild dehydration. Your patient have like mild dehydration, nothing severe, you're gonna give them isotonic solutions because it's just a balance. It's a balance in between, but you still have to monitor your patient for hypovolemia or hypervolemia with the isotonic solution. But there shouldn't, with isotonic solutions, there is no change, there's no shift of water from the extracellular to inside the cell. So hypertonic. I'll do black. With hypertonic solutions, we have a higher, I'm gonna write it right here because I'm a higher concentration of salts. So that higher concentration of salt, we want to make sure the higher concentration of salt, but it pulls water, moves outside the cell. Water, H2O, moves out of the cell. And it goes into that extracellular space right here. So water move out of the cell, and that can lead to cell shrinkage. Sorry, I got a text. That can lead to cell shrinkage. Okay. So this is our extracellular fluid, right? Then we have our cell. Okay, our cell, these are the particles. And then this is the water. The green is water, the black is the particles. Okay, so we gave our patient that hypertonic solution. The hypertonic solution is going into that extracellular space, the bloodstream. And now when we give that, it's full of salt. It's full of salt, right? So now there's a lot. Of salt in that extracellular space. A whole lot of salt. Did we say? Okay, that's water. We said the dots was. Okay, so now there's a whole bunch of salt. And did we not say water follows salt? So all that water that's inside, all this green that's inside the cell, that water is now going to come out of the cell and go into the extracellular space because water loves salt. It's obsessed. So now it sees salt out there, it's gonna go out there. So that makes the cells shrink, and it makes the extracellular fluids are gonna be filled with water. So that can lead to hypervolemia. That's, fluid volume excess. And it can also lead to hypertension, because that vascular space is now having so much pressure, and that's going to increase your blood pressure. And the cell is going to shrink. Let's see if I'm forgetting anything, any key points. My explanation of IV fluids. Let me know if I got something wrong, or I made a mistake, or I'm missing something. So now that I understand how it works, I'm gonna apply this to problems and scenarios of patients. Because the key, I actually wanna, now I just wanna know which patients am I gonna give which fluids. I know some, but I want to just continue to practice problems to make sure whenever I see an IV fluid question, I can't get that wrong, because I got it down.
She got to take me no in this cat, nigga can't even see me on wind. She got a flight, nigga in this cat. She got a flight, run away out of here.